Welcome to the Thriving Solopreneur Show, where you learn the stories and systems that have turned hardworking, self-employed business owners like yourself into highly successful, leisurely entrepreneurs. This show is dedicated to those who went into business for themselves because they had an idea or suggestion that ignited their passions to do more, to do it better, and to solve a problem in our community. Whether your business started in a basement, a garage, or at a kitchen table, this episode will bring to you a system, a tip, or an entrepreneur that has been where you are and can guide you to living the fulfilling life you desire for yourself. Here's your host and serial solopreneur, Janine Bolon.
Hello and welcome to the Thriving Solopreneur Show. I am Janine Bolon, and today I have none other than the Josh Turner. Yes, you heard me correctly. It is the Josh Turner with me today. He is a Wall Street Journal best-selling author, as well as the founder and CEO of LinkedSelling. I first learned about Josh in 2016, hired him in 2017. My business rocked and rolled in 2019. So he is considered the leading expert in the world when it comes to growing your business using LinkedIn. Josh also developed and refined the relationship-focused lead generation system called LinkedSelling that he now implements not only for his own clients, but he teaches you as the solopreneur or entrepreneur how to do the same. When not busting some major marketing moves or being featured in nearly every major media publication, Josh spends the rest of his time with his partner Jess, his son Eddie, and their dog Oscar. He also loves a good CrossFit workout, enjoys good wine, and loves collecting Pearl Jam bootlegs. It's great to have you on the show, Josh. Thanks.
Thanks, Janine. I appreciate you having me here.
Well, one of the biggest things is whenever I have somebody that really helps my business thrive, I can't wait to grab them and put them on one of my podcast shows. And I know you're super busy, so we're going to get right down to content. Talk to us a little bit about what to do now, okay? Because LinkedIn has changed their platforms, consistently changes their platforms. So talk to us a little bit about what you've seen with LinkedIn and how you recommend a starting solopreneur would go about leveraging it for themselves.
Well, I think the first thing that people need to keep in mind is that the platform changes, and so they add new buttons and drop downs and stuff from time to time. But really, the most important thing isn't figuring out how to use the tool. The most important thing before you even get to that is the right mindset behind it. And so what we help people do is to generate leads using LinkedIn as well as a lot of other things as well. But when it comes to LinkedIn specifically, if you're trying to use it for business development, to generate leads, get in front of new prospects, and ultimately to turn some of them into new clients, the first thing that you really need to be thinking about is consistency. And that you're not going to just go on LinkedIn and poke around for a little bit and immediately get huge wins right out of the gate and just like barely put any effort into it. You really have to have a plan for putting in a little bit of time, whether it's going to be every day or every week, however you want to chunk it out. But, that's the biggest thing I see is that the people who are successful with it, like you, Janine, have a commitment to putting in the time. And it takes time to be consistently prospecting and then doing the work that it takes to build relationships with those prospects. And we can get into the mechanics of what that really means and how to do that. But the starting point, though, is blocking off the time on your calendar to actually do the work and do it consistently. And if you do it consistently, and if you have a plan in place to every day or every week connect with new prospects on LinkedIn, over time, that's really going to snowball. And, like Janine, in your situation, you're going to look back a few years from now and be like, holy cow, I have this massive database of prospects now on LinkedIn. And of course, over time, some of them are going to turn into clients as well if you're being diligent with working the process. But it starts with mindset. And so anybody who's like getting ready to dip their toe in on LinkedIn, if you are thinking of starting your own business, or if you're already working for yourself or anything in between, you really just have to realize that like the people who succeed with it are the people who stick with it. I've never seen anybody who sticks with it that doesn't crack the code eventually and see success from it. But there's lots of people who mess around with it a little bit, don't see immediate results, and then quit. And those people don't get any results.
Well, and they don't stay in business long either, because as you know, you've been an entrepreneur for a very long time. I don't even know how long. I forget. I read it in one of your books. How long have you been an
I
entrepreneur?
mean, if you consider some of the little scams and stuff that I ran when I was like 12 years old,
Right?
it goes back pretty far. But I built my first website when I was like 16, and I built an e-commerce site when I was 19. And so that's over 20 years ago. And those were just kind of little side hustles. My first more real business that I was like, made an attempt at trying to make a full-time income with was probably 15 years ago. And that didn't really go anywhere. Fortunately, I had a day job, and it wasn't until 2010 that I completely left the corporate world and started working for myself full-time. So, we're over 10 years ago.
Well, the reason I asked that is because I was one of those kids in southern Missouri that was selling earthworms to bait shops. I was one of those kids. So it's in my blood. And I bought a franchise. I went into Mary Kay Cosmetics, even though I didn't wear a stitch of makeup. And I was in a very, very male dominated area. I was an analytical biochemist, but I ended up selling Mary Kay to them because I'd say, pimples aren't sexy and stuff like that. So, we all start somewhere. And one of the things that I hear over and over from successful people like yourself is consistency. You have to have some sort of a plan. And even if the plan goes awry, it's that consistency of effort. So go ahead and talk to us a little bit about how you were able to take LinkedIn and do this relationship focused lead generation. What are some of the ideas or mindsets? Because we all hear about this, mindset that.
Sure.
But really, what is the mindset that you have to have when you're getting ready to connect with potential clients?
Well, I think one of the biggest things to go really high level is like the mindset where you believe in yourself. That's a really big one, of course. But then to get more specific, and to be honest, why I bring that up is because I've worked with thousands of businesses over the last decade, clients that have hired our company in one form or another. And, you see people who are really succeeding. They really believe in that they're going to achieve the success that they're after. And I think that's big. But more tactically, when it comes to LinkedIn, the thing that we always try and impress upon people is when you're using LinkedIn to try and get new leads, connect with prospects, get clients, etc., you don't want to just connect with people and then send them a sales pitch. So one of the big mindset things is like you want to approach LinkedIn with relationships in mind, and that you're really trying to build relationships with people and treat people the right way, the way you would want to be treated. And, if you think about it, you wouldn't go to a networking event and just walk up to every person you see and start pitching them on your products and services and telling them all about your features and benefits, right? You kind of get to know people first. You ask questions about them, et cetera, et cetera. And if you have a good rapport, then maybe you might follow up afterwards and see if they want to grab a coffee sometime, right? So there's a process to being a good human. And then sometimes people forget about that when it comes to LinkedIn, and they get on there. We call them leg humpers, people who you connect with, and then they immediately send you a sales pitch. And we've all been on the receiving end of that so many times, but for some reason, people are still doing it so often, and it really doesn't work. Can you get something from that every once in a while? Yeah, there's it's a needle in a haystack thing if you just happen to hit the right person at the right time. But if instead of doing that, if you play the long game and build relationships with people, instead of that, you can get a significantly higher percentage of people to eventually jump on a call with you or meet with you to talk about what you do. I mean, and I'm talking about like if you take the leg humper approach with just sending sales pitches to people you connect with, you might get 1 or 2% of people to say, yes, I'm interested in what you're trying to pitch me on here. If you play the relationship game, maybe more like 15, 20% of people will say yes to having a conversation with you. And it's not like you got to spend years building that goodwill. With the process we teach in our programs and our methodology, it can be just weeks. But there's a big difference. And it's just, like take a little time to get to know somebody first before you start pitching them.
And so one of the things that I was lucky enough to do is you folks helped my business. So I was able to take your work that you had done with LinkedIn and then transfer it to Facebook. And because there is such a different environment between Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, I encourage solopreneurs. I'm like, look, pick a platform and then work the system on one platform, find out your success, and then move on from there. So are there any advice that you would give somebody who's like, okay, we're going to make this, we're going to try to work this. So do you mind talking a little bit about the system that you do without, of course, giving away any of the secret sauce?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, really these days I give away the secret sauce because, my focus now is our business Connect 365, which is our software company. And we really kind of give away so much of the training that we used to sell training programs just to teach people how to use LinkedIn to generate leads. But now we kind of give away the training for anybody that signs up for our software, because what we realized was that the biggest thing that held our clients back from having success on LinkedIn was really in two areas. Number one, it was that sending lots of messages one-on-one personally on LinkedIn, it takes time, and a lot of people would just not stick with it because it was too much. If you think about it, if you have hundreds of prospects that you're reaching out to, the messaging process can be very time consuming. And so that's one of the biggest problems. And then the other one is that part of our process involves posting regularly on social media so that the people you are connecting with see your name on a regular basis, oftentimes before you even reach out with an invitation to a phone call or a meeting, so that by the time you do that, they've already seen your name so many times that they feel like they kind of already know you. But that social media content strategy of posting content really every day is something that we saw many of our clients struggling to actually implement and stick with. And so we built a software solution that solves both of those problems. And now that's our focus, is really just helping businesses implement this solution and using our software to make it much, much easier on them so they can really more quickly get the results. And at the end of the day, what it comes down to is really 3 steps. Number one, prospecting, having a process in place to find the right people who would be ideal clients for your business. And there's lots of ways that we teach how to do that in our programs. LinkedIn is just one of the many tools you can use to get in front of people. Then number 2, the messaging process of what kinds of personal messages are you going to put in front of those prospects to work them through sequences that are going to build the relationship and then invite them to some next step with your business. And then number 3, the social media content piece that I talked about, with putting content in front of your prospects on a regular basis. On LinkedIn, that's really status updates. So it's just sharing good content that your prospects would be interested in. Every once in a while, slip in something about what you do. But then when you have something that's going out on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, really every day, which is what we do in our system, it makes a really, really big difference in terms of your ability to stay top of mind with all of the people that are in your database, that you're connected to on social media, and all that good stuff. So that's really the strategy in a nutshell. When you combine all 3 of those components, prospecting, messaging, and the social media content, and it's really kind of like the specific methodology we've developed around those 3 pillars, we have found to be really the optimal way to generate leads online in an organic way that doesn't require any sort of like ad spend or building complex funnels or any of those sorts of things. So it's really, really a great system for small business owners, people who are just getting started. If for no other reason, then it's like you can put in just a little bit of elbow grease, you'll get results.
Well, I'm definitely testament to that, because when I first started, I was putting in roughly 5 to 8 hours a week. So I had it all broken up like you guys had in your system, so that one time I was prospecting, I was doing follow-up, I was connecting with people. And so that's how I broke it up in my head. But the other thing that was amazing to me was the spreadsheets and the way that you had it so automated. I was still having to do the manual pieces and parts, but at the same time, you had ways of helping people make it go go faster since we didn't have a lot of the high-tech software that you were able to use for your other clients. And so, yeah, it was pretty methodical. And I had people tease me about being a machine when I would share with them what I was doing and how I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But it paid off. It took 18 months of me doing that over and over. But in 18 months, my business tripled. And so that's why when people are like, oh, is Josh somebody worth my time? Should I invest? I'm like, how good are you at automating stuff for yourself? And if they say, I don't have any clue, I'm like, you need to take his course. you need to definitely listen to what he has to say. So that's one of the things. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But I just wanted, if you don't mind, take a few moments and chat with us a little bit about, okay, so we talked about the person that just started out, and how to get them going. But it is about the relationships. And I think people are starting to catch on to what you knew a decade ago, that, doing the cold hard sell that we were taught as youngsters is not going to work anymore. So what do you recommend for the business owner who's ready to embrace the growth? Like the systems that they have are no longer working. What is kind of the next step for them? Because you talk a lot about your authority platform and stuff like that. So do you care to chat a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing is no matter what you're doing. So if you already have an established business and you're seeing that things aren't working the way that they used to, the conversation that we're having with a lot of our clients these days is really around the whole idea of building trust and making sure that whatever you're doing in your marketing is building trust with your prospects and clients and not destroying it. And in a lot of ways, the old school like email marketing stuff and like so many of the things that, in terms of online marketing, people have been doing for the last 20 or so years, it doesn't work the way it used to. People know that it's not personal and it's just like a blast email going out to everyone on a list. And so no one responds to it. And it oftentimes ends up in the spam folder, et cetera, et cetera. And so what we're talking to so many of our clients about is just like, how do we make marketing more personal? And that's really like my company's mantra. And that when the prospects that receive your marketing feel like it's actually personal, one-on-one to them, the response rate is dramatically higher. And now that doesn't mean that, you have to use my company's software because it achieves a lot of those things. But no matter what you're doing in your marketing right now, just look for ways that you can make it more personal. So outside of even what my company does, like so many of our clients are looking at how can we integrate the phone more into our marketing so that, if we have prospects who are opting in to our list, signing up for webinars or ebooks or whatever it is, like how can we have somebody actually pick up the phone and give those people a call to start building the relationship? And some of that's just getting back to more, old school tried and true marketing approaches. But that's what I've seen be most successful is just like old school personal relationship building, trust building, personal marketing, all those things. And if you combine them in a smart way with a lot of these online marketing tools that allow you to automate and achieve scale and leverage in different ways, if you combine those two worlds together the right way, you can get optimal results. That's what we've seen.
And I have to concur with you. I watched my open rate of my emails over 2020 drop like a rock. And I was like, okay, this isn't working anymore. I have to find something different. And sure enough, I was lucky enough. I have a lot of people's addresses. And so I do direct mail. And I can send out blasts of direct mail. But most of the time, it's me. And instead of doing the hours that I used to do with the LinkedSelling, I'm now spending 5 to 6 hours a week just doing follow-up and using cards. So sending cards, and that's worked for my business. But I have a business that people are going to drop anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 for a program. And so if that's the case, they want to see a lot of that high tech and high touch, like they used to say. So anyhow, any closing thoughts? Like where can people go to learn more about you and what you got going on?
Yeah, sure. So I would just recommend if you want to learn more about what my company is doing, go to connect365.io. And you can take a look at what we're doing there, and you can request an invitation to try our platform out. And the cool thing about it, when you do, there's no big commitment or anything that you have to sign up for. It is extremely low price. I'll just leave it at that. I think you're going to be amazed at what it is. And then when you do that, you get access to a ridiculous amount of training for all areas of marketing and sales in your business, not just on like how to implement our system and do the things that, Janine talked about that she's done in her business. But like now we have a sales mastermind that all of our customers get to be a part of, where, we work with our clients on like how to optimize the sales conversation so that the prospects that you're driving and turning into leads, that you're able to make sure that then once you get on the phone or face-to-face with them, that you convert a maximum percentage into clients. And so it really is a tremendous program. So go to connect365.io to check that out. And thank you for letting me share that, Janine.
No problem. I've had a lot of success with it. And like you said, it's mindset. And that was what I needed. Once I got the mindset there of how I was going to go about doing a lot of stuff that I had done old school into the digital format, it really worked out for me. So thanks for your time today, Josh. I know you're a real busy dude. And so I'm really grateful you had time to work with us today. And for those of you that are listening to today's episode, please look down in the notes, the show notes, and visit the website, the JanineBolon.com. That's my personal website, just so that you can see what I am doing and the people that I support and the businesses that help me get to where I am in my level of success. And just know that these people, you can know them, you can get to liking them, and you can trust them. They are solid individuals that stand behind their products. So have a great day today and keep reaching for those stars.
Thank you for listening to the Thriving Solopreneur Show. We hope you found this episode helpful and uplifting. Be sure to visit us at JanineBolon.com/podcast, where you'll find a library of videos, books, and podcast programs to guide you to the future you envision for yourself. We also ask that you visit our sponsor, the8gates.com, for the books and online courses that share with you the debt-free living lifestyle that allows business owners like yourself to flourish. Have a great day, and see you next time.